from the Bradley Public Library, and I'm here to read to you for tonight's Pajama Storytime. My first book is called Marsupial Sue. It's written by John Lithgow. Marsupial Sue, a young kangaroo, hated the hopping that kangaroos do. It rattled her brain. It gave her migraine, a backache, sideache, tummy ache too. One morning in May, Sue wandered away, leaving her relatives grazing on hay. What did she see way up in a tree? Koalas gaily at play. And suddenly Sue was convinced she had found a way to escape all that bouncing around. She climbed to the top. She heard a loud pop, and howling in pain fell again to the ground. Marsupial Sue, a lesson or two. Be happy with who you are. Don't ever stray too far from you. Get rid of that frown and waltz up and down beneath a marsupial star. If you're a kangaroo through and through, just do what kangaroos do. With summer at hand, the weather was grand, so Sue stole away from her kangaroo band. Combing the shore, she heard someone snore, a platypus asleep in the sand. How cozy, she said, completely misled, ignoring the probable trouble ahead. How perfect for me, a life by the sea, all snug in a watery bed. So she flopped in the mud with a thud and a shout. She swallowed a scallop, a shrimp, and a trout. By 1:45, the poor kangaroo had typhoid, pneumonia, colic, and gout. Marsupial Sue, a lesson or two. Be happy with who you are. Don't ever stray too far from you. Get rid of that frown and waltz up and down beneath a marsupial star. If you're a kangaroo through and through, just do what kangaroos do. That autumn once more, Sue got to explore a creature she'd never laid eyes on before. A version of her in miniature, a wallaby with cousins galore. Before very long, she joined in the throng, flouncing and jouncing and bouncing along. Happy and free, she shouted with glee, "At last, I'm where I belong." Then she looked at the wallaby, sprightly and small, exactly like her, only not quite so tall. She widened her eyes and cried with surprise, "A kangaroo's life's not so bad after all." Marsupial Sue, no longer so blue. You're happy with who you are. You'll never stray too far from you. You're rid of that frown, so waltz up and down beneath a marsupial star. You're a kangaroo through and through, so do what kangaroos do. You are a kangaroo through and through, so do what kangaroos do. And I like that she learns to love who she is and accept it. It's a good lesson. My next book is called Monster Hunter, and it's written and illustrated by Justin LaRocca Henson. Billy Banks was a monster hunter. It was a good thing, too, because Billy's house was infested with monsters. They were in the closets and hallways, under the beds and carpets. It was Billy's job to get rid of them. Unfortunately, getting rid of monsters could get pretty messy. Like on Monday, when a monster left his room covered in slime. His mother was not pleased. Billy told her, "It wasn't me, Mom. It was a monster." But for some reason, the monsters only came out when he was by himself. Like on Sunday night, when Billy had to battle the slimy, slippery, terrible tentacle monster that slithered out from under his bed. It had slimed his entire room. With his trusty teddy bear, Billy had defeated the gooey creature, but it wasn't long before another monster came looking for him. On Tuesday, Billy's mother found huge puddles of water on the bathroom floor and made him clean them up. Once again, Billy said, "It wasn't me, Mom. It was a monster." This time it had been a troublesome tuna monster trying to climb out of the toilet. After some plunging, Billy was able to flush the floundering, flailing fish back into the deep, dark depths of the sewer. Then on Wednesday, Billy's mother found clothes strewn everywhere. She made him spend hours cleaning up the mess. Again, Billy told her, "It wasn't me, Mom. It was a monster." A lurching laundry monster had leapt out of the laundry basket. Billy was able to swat and slash the cloth creature until it was only a pile of dirty underwear and grungy socks on the floor. The worst was on Thursday when Billy's mother found stinky garbage littered all over the kitchen floor. "But it wasn't me, Mom. It was a monster," Billy told her. The kitchen mess had been made by a revolting, bulbous blob monster. It had eaten everything in the kitchen. Billy had climbed on top of its monstrous belly and jumped until finally it exploded. Oops! The trash went flying all over the kitchen floor. Finally, on Friday, Billy's mother had had enough of his monster messes. She took all his toys and monster-fighting weapons away. "Until you start cleaning up after yourself, these are the only toys you'll be playing with," she said as she handed Billy a vacuum and a bucket of warm, soapy water. Billy was very upset. If only there was a way he could fight monsters and not make a mess. Just then, a giant, gloppy, grass-clawed monster shuffled into the kitchen. Billy was trapped. Then suddenly, a thought came to him. Billy quickly switched on the vacuum and leapt forward with a fearsome roar. In no time, he vacuumed, cleaned, and scrubbed up the grimy monster until it was nothing but a helpless lump of muck and mud in the vacuum bag. It had been the fastest monster cleanup ever. Now Billy has a way to get rid of monsters and keep his house clean. Vroom! Bye-bye, monsters! Billy's mother was so happy that on Saturday she helped him make the best costume ever. He was now a real-life monster hunter. From that time on, whenever Billy had to clean up a mess, he had a special monster hunter suit to wear. Because at Billy's house, you can be sure another monster is just waiting to come out and make a mess. That's one of my favorite books. I think it's really fun. My last book is called Papa, Please Get the Moon for Me, and it's written by Eric Carle. Before Monica went to bed, she looked out of her window and saw the moon. The moon looked so near. "I wish I could play with the moon," thought Monica, and reached for it. But no matter how much she stretched, she could not touch the moon. "Papa," said Monica to her father, "please get the moon for me." Papa got a very long ladder. He carried the very long ladder towards a very high mountain. Then Papa put the very long ladder on top of the very high mountain. Up and up and up he climbed. Finally, Pop got to the moon. "My daughter Monica would like to play with you," said Papa, "but you are much too big." "Every night I get a little smaller," said the moon. "When I am just the right size, you can take me with you." Look at that. That moon is so big, I can hardly hold the book so you can see the whole thing. And indeed, the moon got smaller and smaller and smaller. When the moon was just the right size, Papa took it Down and down and down he climbed. "Here," said Papa to Monica, "I have the moon for you." Monica jumped and danced with the moon. She hugged the moon and threw it into the air. But the moon kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and finally it disappeared altogether. Then one night, Monica saw a thin sliver of the moon reappear. Each night the moon grew and grew and grew. The end. All right, guys, all I have left for us is our goodnight poem. Are you ready to say it with me? Here we go. Hush, hush, little fish. We are here to make a wish. We close our eyes and then we start to make a wish with all our hearts. Good night, guys. Sweet dreams.